Hello students. All right, we're back to the third video, and in this lecture we're going to look at DTDs. I have such a hard time saying that, DTDs, and schema. So valid XML. XML is extensible. Again, this is review. We can add any element or attribute. But if we need more rules, what are we going to do? We need to make sure that our data conforms to particular standards. So valid XML conforms to the rules set by a DTD or an XSD file. DTD stands for Document Type Definition. It's inspired by the computer program header files and basically just defines the structure of an XML document. It provides a list of legal elements and attributes that are allowed in the document. As you know, we have rules and standards that for pretty much everything that we've been covering. So this is just what the DTD does. So if you think about a really huge project being carried out by a team over a period of years, if you need to make sure your file has all the right element names, the right number of elements, the right order, in some cases, the right attribute values, this is when you use a DTD. Because you want to have consistency. You want to make sure that all your files are have the same content, especially when you're working on a big project. Yeah, so if you want to be sure every item on the menu has a name, price, etc. in the exact order, that's when you would use the DDT. And there's my waffles again. I'm seriously craving waffles now. So the breakfast menu might, for the breakfast menu DTD might look something like this. So you've got breakfast menu is the element, the food, another element, the name, the description, the calories, and I'll go through what all of these things mean. So the first element, the first line creates the container element for the breakfast menu, and it must contain one or more food elements. The next line defines the food child element and gives it subchildren. So we've got name, price, description, and calories, and each only appears once. The next lines define each of the subchild elements. Hashtag PC data just means parsable character data. That's what that stands for. So that here we have each of the subchild elements: name, price, description, and calories. So let's consider a DTD for the cats file. So this would be an XML file with Wensleydale, who's 6 years old, black short hair, and special instructions: do not feed Wensleydale after midnight. Okay, so this is with the cats.dtd, and that's the file format for DTD, so it's pretty intuitive. You would have cats as the element, and then you have underneath, we have the different subchildren are here, and then you'd have them laid out here as well. So whatever you have here, you have to make sure you have a line for each of them here. So when you add a doc type, and remember, I mean, we do have some familiarity with this with adding CSS files to HTML files. So it's similar in that you need to just add. This is where it would go underneath the declaration. You would put doc type cats system cats DTD, and that's the actual file. So this will link, and after this, the file will only be valid if it conforms to the DDT that was created. So every time anybody else working on this big project with you has to follow the rules that are set in the DTD, and that's the reason they use them. So if again, Oxygen is pretty good about showing what your errors are. So if your XML doesn't match your DDT, then you're going to get an error. It's telling you that you forgot something. So this here says, oh, there's an unexpected element. So the DDT did not have this weight element, and so it's going to throw you an error. But it's pretty good. You just read the errors and you can figure out what's going on. So there are limitations of document type definitions. It's different syntax than XML, so it's, you got to learn new syntax. It supports only text string data type, and it's not very flexible, very, very, very rigid. And it does not support using elements or attributes from multiple namespaces. So XML schemas. They're written in XML, and they're used by a wider variety of XML applications. They do support different data types, and they're more flexible to use than the DTDs. And they also are designed to accommodate XML namespaces. So these are more widely used, but we do want to obviously talk about the DTDs in case you do run into them. You'll have some, in the future, you'll have some familiarity with it. So this would be our cats.xsd, and that's the schema. And this looks more like the XML than the other syntax. So here we have you have your declaration, and then we have this line, XS schema. This means that this right here, it indicates that the elements used in this schema come from here, and they will always begin with XS as a prefix. And if you want to read more about namespaces, there's a link on these slides that are up on Moodle for you. You can do that. So here we see that the ref equals cat. This refers us to another element. And then below the file, we will find the cat element in the previous code that the previous code was referencing. So this is just breaking up that last slide, showing you how these things all tie in together. So this XS sequence, these tags, they tell us that the child elements of cat must appear. And the child elements, name, age, description, special instructions, they all have a type. And in this case, they're all a string, as you can see. My cursor, string, XS string, 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 string. So, but other data types can be used, and that's what makes this a little more flexible than the DTD. You can use integers and other types, not just strings. So we have integers and dates. These are examples here. So that makes it a little more flexible than the DTD. And then we have special instructions. It's optional, but here it just says the min occurs is set to 0, but if it does occur, it can only occur once. So we have minimum time it can occur and the maximum. So it's just going to be one time. So there's a downside to schemas. It's more complicated to implement, as you can see. That was kind of a lot of stuff going on. Harder to validate, and XSD is the schema file extension. So you will need XML software, but you have XML software because we have Oxygen. So that's it for this. Next up, I forgot what's up next, but watch the next video, and let me see, I can tell you actually. What are we doing next video? We're on 3, 4. Yeah, so the next Oh, yeah, of course, XSLT. XSLT is similar to the CSS, so that's going to be cool. So I'll see you in the next video.